Hi Virgo, I hope you guys are doing great. So this is kind of like a bonus read. This is meant to be added on to the reading that I did last week, although you can watch it independently and get some good messages. The reason I'm doing this is because I did get a lot of messages that, and when I say that, it's a couple of dozen people said that I didn't give enough messages having to do with the Mercury Retrograde. So I felt bad enough about it. I'm throwing a bonus read here for the end of the month. So we're going to talk more about Mercury Retrograde, which is happening in your second house. And I want to also throw in this idea of this trine that I realized, after I did the reading last week. So we're going to pull the cards. We're going to talk a little bit about additional astrology that's relevant to not only Virgo, Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus, but also I just want to kind of talk about just in general, like all of you Mercury placements, where the stuckness might be felt right now, right? And guys, this is going to be going through, I mean, I'm reading this for the last week of September, but these energies are going to be rolling out. And through the beginning of November, which is when Mercury is going to be coming out of post shadow. So you keep in mind though, we have all of the heavy hitter planets are all retrograde right now, and they're going to finally start to come out of retrograde in the middle of October. So we're going to start to feel lightness, right? From the last 2 weeks of October, we're going to start to feel things lightening up. So don't fret there. All right. Now, having to do with the Mercury retrograde, again, it's in your second house. It is squaring Pluto in your fifth house. So what is that fifth house, right? First of all, Mercury retrograde does not mean that we're stopping life, and it's not all negative. Try your very best not to look at it as a negative thing. Mercury retrograde happens half of the time, literally. And so it's these pause buttons where we're meant to stop and reassess, reevaluate, filter how we speak. Think before we speak, kind of slow down and pull back a little bit, right? Now, for you guys, it's happening in your second house. The second house has to do with your money, your work, your income, right from the work that you do, your daily routines, your values, your material possessions, your priorities, your habits, your job, and your work ethic for you, okay? Now, so Mercury retrograde in that area is going to have you thinking about all of these things, right? And you're going to be reassessing and reevaluating. Now, the fact that it's squaring Pluto in your fifth house, this could indicate there might be some tension, maybe some arguments for some of you. For others of you, just like poor communication when it comes to money, values, children, when you're dealing with a significant other in relationship, because that fifth house energy has to do with falling in love affairs, relationship kind of things, right? It's Leo's home. So, and so there could be these very heavy arguments, but the fact that Pluto is in Capricorn here, I actually think there's whatever is going to be rolling out for you, that deep conversation where you're realizing the relationship is going to work or it's not going to work. It's going to be the right thing, and it's going to be very long lasting because it's happening in Capricorn, and Capricorn is ruled by Saturn. So there's this element of like, whatever's going to happen in this energy is really going to stick. So make sure you just don't make any big sweeping decisions straight out of the gate until, I would say, Mercury is out of retrograde. There's going to be certainly some heavy conversation. So that's how it can be for some of you. For others of you, you may be having very tense or poor communication when it comes to maybe the financing, I don't really want to even say that. The money that you're putting into a creative project could be that. Because that fifth house has to do with creative projects. It has to do with your own business. It has to do with hobbies that you're involved in, things that you love to do. And then because it's in that square with that second house, with Mercury retrograde, you're rethinking how are you spending your money when it comes to your hobbies, your things that you love to do because you love to do them. Maybe you're reassessing the amount of money that you spend on relationships, or the amount of money that you're spending having to do with your children, because fifth house also rules your children. In the same way, a lot of you may be experiencing this sort of reconnection with your children, right? Particularly if is that Mercury retrograde, it brings things back from the past. So it could be ideas or even people, right, that were in that second house energy of values, right, of things that are very dear to you. So obviously children should be very dear to you. And because that Mercury retrograde is squaring that fifth house, there might be this But because it's happening in Capricorn, that fifth house it has that Capricorn energy in it. I feel like whatever change is going on is going to end up being long lasting. So some of you may be in the throes of sort of starting this new cycle with one of your children, especially your. I want to say your. Now I'm going to say either any of your children, but I feel like especially your firstborn. Where this, or maybe there's something very transitional going on in the life of your firstborn child, but I don't want to make it all about that. But that's how that could end up manifesting. In the same way that Mercury retrograde is also trining Jupiter in the sixth house. So the sixth house, your money energies, your career houses are very lit up right now. I could tell you that, especially with this trine that I'm going to talk about in a second. But let's talk about Mercury trining Jupiter. Jupiter is all about expansion, and you have Jupiter in the sixth house, which has to do with your day-to-day work experience, people that work for you. It could have to do with your boss, your work environment. It also has to do with your mental, physical, and emotional health. And again, Jupiter is a very fortuitous energy. So Mercury retrograde in that second house, sixth house. So some of you may be thinking about what you do as you're in your daily routines that is could be more positive, have more of a positive impact on your health. So this could have to do with your, getting up and working out. Getting up and eating differently, getting up and maybe going to therapy, whatever it is, right? But it's a good thing. So there's, especially if you've been struggling with your health or any sort of health issue, this can indicate an upswing. Very, very nice. I like it a lot for you, because whatever is good, you're going to be slowly kind of reevaluating, reassessing, and implementing. And Jupiter is about bringing you into that next space. So it's a nice trine there. Now, also trine, we have a grand trine that's going on. So we have the Sun and the Mars between like 5 and 9 degrees in that second house, is trining that sixth house energy, which is also then trining the 10th house. So again, that 10th, second, sixth house, it's kind of like the career work triangle, right? Beautiful trine there, beautiful. So some of you may be in this space though, because it's trining with Saturn in the middle, where you're looking at the longevity of what it is that you're in. Is there sustainability in it? And if there's not, you're very motivated to have the conversation about making adjustments in your current position, or maybe even getting into something different right now. Don't be surprised though if you're in this space where you're doing a lot of thinking, but you feel very stuck and not being able to implement, because you want to remember something with Mercury retrograde. Mercury retrograde hits wherever the mercurial energies are in our chart. So for you, it's the first house, second, third, sixth, and 10th. And you're like, what? Mercury retrograde itself is hanging out in your second house, right? But right now we have this Mercury energy is very, very, your first house of self. You have Virgo in there, right? And then we have the second house, which is where Mercury retrograde is. And then third house is a Gemini's house, which is ruled by Mercury also. So communication is going to be a little, and that's why it's for everybody, right? Because Mercury rules Gemini for everyone. That's why we say for everyone when Mercury is retrograde, that communication could get a little wonky. But Mercury also rules your home, the sixth house, which is the house of problem solving. So it can be a little more challenging for all of us to actually solve problems in any sort of solid, clear way. And then we also have Geminis in your 10th house with the North Node, by the way. So I do feel like something very beautiful is coming in as a result of this trine. So I feel like it can go something like this. That second house having to do with the money that you make and things that matter to you, you're going to be having a lot of conversation in that that sixth house, Saturn energy. Saturn rules work, right? It's Capricorn energy, rules work, rules Capricorn. And so it's at that 7 degrees in that sixth house. So you're looking very hard at the people that work for you, all of that, all the pragmatics that have to do with your job. And then the latter and the last leg of this beautiful trine is Gemini North Node energy in that 10th. And there's going to be a gift that's given to you by the first week of January in that 10th house of career. So again, though, because Mercury rules these energies though as well, you want to understand that things are being set up energetically. So don't be surprised if you find out a little later on that your name was thrown around, that things were planned for you. even though you're not feeling it right now, you may even be feeling very sort of held back, very, very busy work, but maybe not feeling very appreciated. Things are going to end up rolling out. The thing is, with the energies the way they're set up for you right now, Virgo, there's so much activity going on and like narratives being derived underneath the surface that you probably feel going on, but you don't fully understand or know. You may not feel like you have all of the information. So that is what I feel like is going on for you. But, you know, kind of looking ahead a little bit, just knowing that Gemini North Node is in that 10th house. I just can't help but feel like, you know, because the North Node, it never leaves a house without leaving a little gift, a little something. And the nodes are going to be shifting into Scorpio and Taurus energy in the middle of January. So before then, there's going to be some sort of gift left in your 10th house before that North Node ends up transiting into your 9th house of Taurus energy. So that is, hopefully that gave everybody some extra messages there. Now let's get to the cards. So we have the Three of Wands coming into this energy. So the Three of Wands is one of the good fortune cards. It's about thriving business, very busy, intense period. This, for some of you, this could be an indicator for a wedding or a really important relationship in your life. If not yours, then maybe somebody close to you. This is also indicative of moving on to realize your plans in some way, maybe dealing with unconventional people or finding yourself in some sort of unconventional situation. But whatever it is, it's like nice, right? Very nice. You feeling the energy of your life moving forward. This is the thing with the Three of Wands. It's Sun and Aries energy. So the Sun brings focus, and when it's in Aries is all about fresh path, new perspective. So wanting something new, kind of like a clean slate energy. You being very much in that space, ready for that clean slate energy. So what's going on with you right now? So right now you're the King of Swords. We have the female version. In this particular deck, all the court cards come in a male and female version. So we have the King. They mean pretty much the same thing. But we have this energy of you focusing on your mind instead of your heart to take charge of your circumstances. And that happens to be something that is not that difficult for you. You know, this is a Capricorn and Aquarius energy. Aquarius is a fellow I'm going to say fellow air sign, even though you guys are earth, right? We know that, but you are ruled by Mercury. Mercury is air, right? So this is where this connection comes into the air energies as well for you, which is why you're a very interesting placement here. But you're going to be in this space. You're going to be very logical, outwardly calm. Try not to use your emotions too much. That's where you're at right now, right? That's where you're like, no, this is where I need to be. But what is your challenge right now? Is the King of Swords. I didn't even realize this until I picked it up. The King of Swords. So you have the two of King of Swords working together here. Oh my. So you're sort of working across purposes from yourself, because on the one hand, you want to stay outwardly calm and rely on your logic, but that's the very thing that you're having challenge doing. That is the very thing that you're having your challenge doing. And I understand, I mean, right now, especially because in your third house, which has to do with communication, you have Scorpio sitting in there. So Scorpio is about, you know, really derived to a lot of anxiety and a lot of rumination. And Venus is in there. Venus has to do with love, has to do with money, has to do with self-esteem, and it's sitting across in a 2-degree opposition, honestly, to Uranus energy in Taurus in your 9th house. So there can be something that is like very shocking that comes in with this Uranus retrograde energy sitting opposite this Venus Scorpio energy. You know, Scorpio is ruled by Pluto. So it's definitely, you know, transformation, and this house is ruled by Mercury. So what does all that mean? To me, I'm looking at this saying, wow, there's a lot of confusion here when it comes to you being able to communicate exactly what it is that you want in relationship, in having to do with siblings, having to do with a family member, having to do with a work situation, having to do with negotiating anything in your life. That could have to do with anything in relationship, business, anything like that, having to do with your belief system. So definitely there's some area in your life here where you're resonating. I feel like many of you, where you feel like you're at like cross purposes. Like this is a true Two of Swords energy to me. except exponentially more profound. So we have the Ace of Wands as the basis for what's going on here. Yeah, I mean, you're just all about, you want a new beginning, new enterprise. This is a nice energy of Ace of Wands is, first of all, always brand new, and it equals a new chapter. So for some of you, a new chapter of passion. For others of you, a new chapter of creativity. Maybe you're trying to launch something. You're trying to publish something. Maybe you will publish something with that Uranus energy in the 9th house of publications and launching. So it could certainly be that very motivated kind of energy. So you're all about it. But so that's the basis. But this is what's happening right now. So you're all about the new change. We're dealing with the devil energy. So the devil is just imbalance. Let's just say that. I mean, if this could indicate difficult relationships, of course, in any area of your life. So if it has to do with intimate relationships, this could be maybe you have a controlling partner, or there's some sort of cheating going on, or some codependent patterning going on, or some sort of financial dependence, or other ongoing money or property issues that end up keeping you tied to an energy that you know is really kind of imbalanced and not good for you. If this has to do with career or money, you might be experiencing like some sort of unfair contract, or a career that's just straight up unsatisfying for you, right? Where you just feel like you have like a very domineering boss, or way too much is asked for you for the amount of money that you're being paid, or you might just be trapped. You feel trapped in a toxic work environment, but you stay because you feel financially trapped. Could certainly be that. But you just might be dealing with somebody or a situation that's just very off. The devil is, in numerology, the lover's energy, which always indicates this idea of choice. So you want to make sure that you're not doing a job just for the money, because if you're doing it like that for only that reason, you're gonna get burnt out, and you're not going to be able to do it anymore. It's almost going to be this kind of thing where I absolutely can't do this anymore. But there is this choice energy here where something is imbalanced, and there has to be a choice made to balance something out. But you're not in this alone. That's the thing. When we're dealing with the devil energy and we're dealing with the lover's energy, you're not in it alone. So you might be dealing with somebody who's dealing with an addiction. It could be to substances. It could be to, spending money, sex, food, anything like that. It could be to anxiety and depression that's gone unchecked, untreated. Devil energy can also indicate narcissistic tendencies, not necessarily the disorder, but where there's a lot of egotism and unfairness, right? Think about scales and throw them off balance. There's the devil. And so pretty much so many things could cause that, right? So what is the word of it? The card of advice here is the Knight of Swords. Something for you to look at. Yes, okay, expect the unexpected, Virgo. It's all about that. This is an unpredictable roller coaster energy, sudden truths coming out, underlying conflicts coming out. For some of you, this is going to be a relief where it's like, yeah, I knew that was going on, that kind of thing, because I'm a Virgo and I see stuff. All right, it could certainly be that. For others of you, it might be super confusing. Now, so pay attention and prepare yourself for that. For others of you, you're being asked to look at, is there an energy in your life who comes off, this could be an intimate partner, a friend, a family member, a workmate, a boss, where they're very determined, very driven, very forthright, right? And they're very strong in their convictions about what they believe, right? And they almost have this energy where you can sense that they get bored very easily, and they drum up drama because they get bored very easily. And then once they drum up the drama, they create the mess, and then they take no responsibility for smoothing things out, right? Or for reconciling the situation. And they just sort of leave everyone in their wake, right, to deal with the outcome. So some of you, pay attention to that, right? If you have an energy like that, you really need to sort of relocate them in the spectrum of your life and figure out, do they deserve the space that you are allowing them to take up in your life? Now, the energy that is showing up external to you is a Queen of Pentacles. So Virgo, some of you may be dealing with somebody who's very reliable, very supportive, very affectionate, very generous energy. They understand what's necessary to grow a situation. This could certainly be it, a person. or a person that's external to you may be in this space where they're focusing on marriage. This could be a marriage partner. Focused on money, maybe coming to you guys as a couple, or focused on good financial management, focused on fertility, maybe wanting to have a child, wanting to grow a life together, wanting to have a very healthy, intimate, relationship with you, right? This could be somebody who's external to you having to do with relationship. If this has to do with not having to do with the relationship at all, as this is a Sagittarius and Capricorn energy, you may be dealing with somebody who really wants to work with you, right? And really kind of grow something with you. Because Sagittarius is about moving forward with integrity, its belief system, its morality. And when it's hanging out with Capricorn, which rules work, somebody may be really very happy with your belief system, your work ethic, which of course, because you're a Virgo, right? It's all about to be of service. Virgos are great workers. So somebody may be in that space, but I feel like it's a very good energy for you, at least in one part of your life. Somebody sort of wants to be this for you. Your challenge is the Page of Wands. Page always indicates a new cycle. So there's some sort of challenge here. That you're dealing with. So this could have, for some of you, this could have to do with maybe something going on with one of your kids, or your kids being an issue in a relationship, or maybe one of your children are struggling at school, or it has nothing to do with children, and this could just have to do with maybe you're dealing with somebody who's struggling with being immature, and this is showing up as a challenge for you psychologically. You may be the immature one, or you may be dealing with somebody who's immature, right? But these are the different things that could show up as we're talking about this Page of Wands energy. And we're talking about immaturity, and we're talking about wands because wands is a phallic symbol. Some of you may be feeling like you're dealing with a little bit of a player energy. Could be that. Others of you might not be that at all. Others of you, where you might be dealing with the situation where an offer comes in, having to do with work, having to do with a relationship, anything like that. And the offer kind of misses the mark for what it was that you were looking for. Maybe this is, for example, if this has to do with a relationship, it's like you have the conversation, but you're very underwhelmed with how the conversation went. Even though you still sort of want to be in the relationship, you do. It's not, there's something that's underwhelming about something that's coming in, and this is showing up as a challenge for you. So maybe the glitz and glam of a position at the workplace is not really what you would expect, or maybe the money's not what you would expect, or what that person's willing to give in relationship is not what you're really looking for. You're still going to be involved in it, but it's like underwhelming. And in your internal psychology, this is kind of a block for you. But I would expect that, right? Reflective of the astrology that we discussed. That makes sense to me, right? Now we have the Eight of Wands in your near future. So the Eight of Wands is a very, very positive energy, guys. This is good news coming in. Lots of busy communication. This is great if you've been feeling held back or stuck, especially waiting for a decision. Good news for growth coming in. If this is to do with relationships, great news about love, especially if you've been in a space of separation. So this is nice. And then we have the Nine of Pentacles as the final outcome. So this is about comfort and accomplishment and success in any independent endeavors that you're taking on. It's a very independent energy. This is financial rewards for your efforts, or for others of you, this could indicate finally meeting a healthy connection after doing some solid work on yourself, right? As 9 is that number of productivity. It's an integration of body, mind, and spirit. So it does seem like it's very good for those of you who are looking to get into a relationship, being in a relationship, but where there's less codependency, where there's more interdependence and less codependence. So, right, we want to rely on people that we're in a relationship with, but it kind of goes to a different space when we're looking at somebody else to complete us. You know what I mean? Or if somebody is looking for you to complete them, kind of thing. So for some of you, it can manifest like that. For others of you, man, this Eight of Wands and Nine of Pentacles, this is good news coming in about some sort of project that you're trying to launch. Again, you have that Uranus in the 9th house. of publication, of marketing, of advertising, of launching something, of negotiating. So something nice there. Okay, so that's what we have for that, like, of the spread. Now I'm going to pull a couple of cards for those of you who are in separation. All right, so I'm going to pull 3. This is 3 from the Live Tarot of Separation, and then we have 3 Island Time Wellness. And then 3 of my Homemade Tarot. I couldn't handle my true feelings for you, so I kept you as a friend and nothing more. Oh, I think somebody's going to be calling somebody here in this Mercury Retrograde. Man, I couldn't handle my true feelings for you, so I kept you as a friend and nothing more. But then that's clarified by talking. Interested, conversing more, awaited message arrives, text, call, email. Guys, remember, these could be your feelings towards somebody else or theirs towards you. When we're talking about relationship energies, they're always enmeshed. So I always recommend, whenever you're listening to a relationship read, listen to it very holistically. Because if I say something for you and you're like, no, that's kind of the other way around, then it's still your message, right? You have to understand that, right? The spirit's energy, it doesn't understand the man-made calendar, the clock. It doesn't understand like where energy begins and ends. It really doesn't understand that. All right, so clarifying the talking. I love you, but I'm afraid to lose my freedom. I don't know how to balance this. Yeah, ooh, so I feel like this, I'm feeling this block of defensiveness that's going on here. I don't know if it's coming from you or from them. Somebody, it's like, nope, can't come in. They want to let you in, or you want to let them in, but there's so much fear here. I'm confused about what I should do about my feelings for you. Twin flames. Yin yang, balance, union, coupling, complementing each other. Clarifying the twin flames, we have, you project who you want me to be onto me and our connection. I wish you could just accept me as I am. Okay, yeah. So this is, again, are the you towards them towards you, but it looks like somewhere in this connection, somebody is trying to change somebody else to make them be more of what that person would like them to be, whether it's you, whether it's them, right? Our love was too intense for me to handle. I needed to break away. And that's been clarified by separation. Sadness, missing you, thinking about you, yearning, unsure of the future. Clarified by, I'm so insecure and I know it's a problem, but looking at myself is not easy for me. Ooh, these are very powerful. Three of Earth, coming together, collaborating, success, coming together to try to build something. Oh, another 3. Here we go. 3 of Fire. 3 of Fire. And this is about, you know, very important relationship. This could be a wedding energy. This could be whatever happened in the past. Let's turn our back on it. Let's just try something different. Let's try something unconventional for us in this relationship, whatever it is. And then we have the 8 of Fire. Great news about love, especially if you've been separated. What did I say? All right, guys, it kind of looks good if you want to get back with somebody, but somebody's scared. Somebody needs, I think, to have their hand held a little bit. Yeah. All right, my friends, that's what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way. You guys have a beautiful week, and I'll see you next time to talk about October.